Hey, I'm Erica.
And I'm Jules. Most people have at least one thing that they can't or won't eat.
Yeah, we're definitely like that.
We started this podcast to talk about the gluten-free food industry,
like new products and some of the stories behind your favorite brands,
and living life with a specialty diet, and also some important healthcare topics.
Since we're basically both broken inside.
You had me at eat.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of You Had Me Eat. You have joined us again. Lucky you. We are doing a recap of the Inspired Home Show 2023, aka Houseware Show. And if you missed anything, you can go back and listen to older episodes. The ones that we've done before are travel. And then the last one that we just recorded is gadgets. So we are now moving on to the electronics, which are things that you plug in. If you know how electricity works, we're not here to explain how electricity works, thank God, because honestly, it's been far too long. And I just now think that it's magic from witches. So that's how electricity works on my end. So let's just talk about electronic gadgets.
Yeah, and this was a lot of fun. I think that's one of the highlights of the Houseware Show. The Inspired Home Show is getting to see all of the new electronics. These are, kitchen for the most part, small electronics that make your life easier in the kitchen. And
they're not all appliances like for the most part.
The ones we focused on were for the kitchen. And I mean, they had other stuff like, things you could plug in and shave your dog with and things like that. We looked at a few of those, but we're going to focus in and really try to, dial in on the stuff that makes your kitchen life easier here today for you.
Can I tell you a little story?
Tell me a little story. Lay it on me.
Not only do they have the vacuum brush for dogs and cats, like it grooms and vacuums.
Very cool.
Amazing. Did you see, and I don't know, I think they were at the show because they pitched me around the same time. It's a box that you dry your pet in after bath time.
Because if they're not traumatized enough by the Flowbee thing, then you just throw your cat in a box and then
literally looks like
air dry them.
Put your cat in a microwave. But I watched the video so many times and I showed it to Matt. And I'm like, it's pretty rad. And they're like, it's soothing. And I'm like, no. I would love to put Pigeon in there and just see what happens. Because I know that Jojo would claw my face off the second I opened up the door.
We have 3 cats and they would all 3 handle that differently. But one of them would kill the box. The box would not survive her. I mean, when we moved to this house, our last move, she broke the crate that we put her in, like the crate that's rated for animals, right? Like for dogs and cats. She broke it, the metal crate, the attachments, and busted clean out of that thing. And we almost had to just leave her at the last house because there was no getting her back in that crate after that. Like no amount of soothing and, kind of very soft words and my convincing her, coming back hours later on my hands and knees and begging her to get back in the car with me was going to convince her to get back in that thing. I am not putting her in a box hair dryer. That is not happening. She would absolutely destroy that like the Tasmanian devil.
It looked pretty rad, but I am really interested to see out of 100 animals that they tried it on, how many absolutely freaked out, crapped all over it. And then there were people had to bring them out and be like, I'm so sorry that I traumatized you. It's like $800 machine.
This failed our R&D.
But it was cool.
One of my cats would come out and her walnut brain, God love her, would forget about the experience about 5 minutes later, as long as you gave her enough treats. Another cat would hate me for about 15 minutes, but probably would survive. And then the first cat I told you about, the box would not survive.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So needless to say, I did not ask for a press sample for that because I fear our family would not be the same after trying it. But that's the kind of electronics that we're not highlighting on this episode. And just a reminder, don't put your cats in a box that would make me eat forever. But no, but just as a reminder, if you are watching this on YouTube, we will be posting pictures of the items that we got to see in real life. So if you're listening on the podcast, you can just use your imagination. Okay, so the first electronic gadget that we are going to talk about today is from one of my favorite brands, tried and true. When I was at the magazine doing testing for air fryers, when air fryers first became a hot, sexy, plug-inable electronic for your kitchen, because all of us were just using plain old convection ovens.
Yeah.
When air fryers,
I mean, that is what an air fryer is.
It's just a small convection oven. We've already talked about how much you can't fry things in an air fryer.
Right.
Anyway,
right.
when air fryers were popular, we did a whole mess of testing. We tested like 15 or 16 different air fryers, and Gourmia was always one of my favorite brands. They were always a great brand of air fryers and other kitchen gadgets. And I just love what they put out. And every year they produce an insane amount of air fryers. I don't know of another company that has like 25 different models of air fryers, but somehow they're the
air fryer company. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, wait till you see the new air fryer from Gourmia, because they have like come up with a really, really, really cool new air fryer this year. And I don't know why anyone would buy any of Gourmia's other air fryers after they come up with this one. So they've kind of shot themselves in the foot on their other models, because this one is a foldable kind of contraption. So basically what happens is the biggest complaint with air fryers is, love it, but what am I going to do with it when I'm not using it, right? Just like all these other home appliances. These are tabletop kind of appliances, and they sit in your kitchen when you're not using them. They take up space, right? Yeah. And no one has the space in their cabinets because these take up all this room. So what they've done is they've broken the mold on air fryers, and they've taken a traditional air fryer and they've made it in two pieces. And so the top piece completely comes off, turns upside down, and nests inside the bottom piece. So you would take this, and basically takes the footprint is the same, but it would fit now inside of a cabinet somewhere else. Whereas an ordinary air fryer would not, because it's much taller than, a lot of people's cabinets. So this takes the air fryer market and makes it much more accessible to a lot of people who ordinarily, living in a smaller space or whatever, would say, I love it, want an air fryer, but I don't have room for it. And the other neat thing about this new air fryer is that the drawer that you put your food into is now entirely glass. It's really sleek looking, but also you can
see your food.
You can see your food, right? You can see it. But it is the traditional, sort of the bin feature of the original air fryer. So it's a nice looking air fryer. I think that this feature of it being collapsible or, foldable or whatever they're calling it now is really cool. And, assuming that it works as well as all the other Gourmia air fryers do, I'm sure it's going to be a real hit.
Yeah. And there's obviously a caveat that we're not able to test this. I mean, this wasn't even available to look at until the day of the show. So we're definitely excited. It's called the Fry and Fold. It's 7-quart. Gourmia air fryers, you can't go wrong. This is definitely a unique twist on it, like Jules said. They also have very large air fryers and much smaller air fryers. So I've run the gamut in testing several different varieties. For us, like when we make air fryers, we throw the chicken nuggets in with the fries and just cook them all at the same time. There are also ones that have 2 different types of baskets that can cook different things at different times. So, I mean, it's really about finding the air fryer that works best for your home, because they're all convection ovens. And as long as you're tiny convection ovens, and as long as you're getting it from a quality maker like Gourmia, you really can't go wrong with whatever you choose that best fits how you use your air fryer and, how it fits in your space. Like if you need one that folds, this is an amazing opportunity to find one that collapses in itself and just shove it into into your cabinets. But for me, I'm like, ooh, I definitely want the massive one, because I'm like, I will air fry everything and I'll just shove fries and chicken tenders and tater tots or whatever else we make into it. But yeah, great brand. And I'm very excited to see how this one works. So we'll let you know when we've got a sample and we are ready to try it out.
Yeah. Well, along the same lines as, that with air fryers, I was really impressed with this other brand, Zaver, that they have a really impressive line of electronics for the kitchen. And their air fryer, called the Crunch Air Fryer, is a really nice size air fryer in that it's a 12.7 quart. And one thing that I really like about it, I mean, there's two basic kinds of air fryers. There's this basket one, like just what we are just talking about, where you pull it out and it's like a bin or a basket. And there's another kind that has shelves or, two different racks or, whatever. And I have both. And I tend to go for this kind, which is the one that has the racks in it instead of the basket, because to me, you can do more with that. And it just has more options. Now, if I'm going to just do a whole bunch of tater tots or fries or whatever, then you just throw it in the bin or the basket kind. But there's just more opportunity to me to do more things with the ones that have the racks. But most of them only have one rack. Like the one that I have at home is a one rack air fryer. So you're limited in the amount of food that you can cook at one time. This Zavor unit has two racks in it. And so I'm all of a sudden just like, ooh, look at all the food that I could cook at one time. I could be done so much faster. I don't have to wait and do things in cycles. And so it's a taller unit that actually has space for a lot more food. It also has a rotisserie. It does dehydration in this same unit. It has a grill. It is a toaster oven, a roaster. So it does 7 different things all in this same unit. So I was really impressed. And it also is like an LCD unit on the front of it. So it's really easy to read and to program. It's just a sleek unit. I was really impressed with it. It's really nice looking. I really, really want to put it to the test though, and report back and let you know what I think, because it can look great all you want and promise a lot of things, but until you can test it, like what we did for the magazine, put one against the other and, let you know how fast it works and how well things stay crunchy. But it really is very, very promising. I was really excited
because
about
to
it.
be fair, the rotisserie spit, I had one that I was testing to do a whole rotisserie chicken. It was wild, Jules. It was not my favorite. It was very strange. I didn't get the texture that I wanted out of the chicken, and I thought it was novel, but it definitely was not something that I would ever use again. So something like that is well, that's not really a feature that I need. I think it's rad that you can do it. The fact that it's not just that, which the other air fryer that I tested was just about rotisserie chicken, which again, not my favorite. I don't think they even make it anymore, thank God. But there were a lot of rotisserie chicken air fryers. I don't know why that's a thing that people want. But anyway, spatchcock your rotisserie chicken, everyone. It's the best way to cook it. Anyway, I digress. So this one looks really,
I will not
really
be testing
sharp.
the rotisserie feature.
Obviously.
Just to be clear,
fish.
that's not something I will not be testing, but nice for people to know that it has that feature.
It's just cool. So I pulled up on Amazon. First of all, it looks amazing because I did not get a chance to look at this, everyone, because I missed their booth. But 2 nonstick cooking trays, a drip tray, again, rotisserie basket, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it looks rad. And like you said, it's tall, and I like the multi-shelving units on it. It looks great. Yeah, it's rad.
Yeah. And then the other unit that I really liked from Zaver was this unit called the Lux LCD multi-cooker, which again, you had me at multi because I love when one unit can do lots of things. And so it's a pressure cooker, slow cooker, rice cooker, yogurt maker, and sous vide all in one. And it has that beautiful, sleek LCD interface on the front of it. And it is very interactive. They showed me a demonstration of how to use it. Really, really intuitive and easy to program. It's got those 10 different cooking functions on it, and 30 different settings for programming. And it's, you can get different sizes. And I think I told you I've started using my slow cooker to make gluten-free pizzas in it. You could do that in here, but you could also use it as like an Instapot. It can go, from one way to the other, all in this one unit. I have a slow cooker and I have a pressure cooker. If I could have one unit that did both, I would be really happy because again, you're like cutting out the storage issues that you might have. And again, the brand is really strong. They've got a great track record. They've got really great reviews. So I'm really excited to hopefully get to test some of these things out and report back on them.
I will not be using a yogurt maker. I'm excited. I'm excited.
I have a yogurt maker and I've made yogurt and it's really fun.
Well, so Zarushi also does that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's weird.
I have a Cuisinart yogurt maker and it works really well. But I
stopped at sourdough. Good for you, though. I mean, I'm excited for you and your Zavor. By the way, I think it's Zavor, but it could be Zatarain's for all I know.
It could be xylophone for all you care, but like
Zavor, I don't know. Anyways, this company has been around for forever. They're always at the home shows. And again, they make a lot of stuff, much like the next brand that you're going to talk about, another housewares / inspired home show staple.
Yeah. So Nesco just
king of dehydrators.
Or the queen, as it were, of dehydrators. Their Garden Master dehydrator was really the talk of dehydrators. Everybody was talking about their dehydrator. It was so exciting. If you're into dehydrators.
What were they, Jules, or was it just you? Because I cannot imagine that there's like a whole gaggle of people who are like, oh my God, did you see that dehydrator?
If you're into dehydrators, people were talking about this dehydrator, okay? Around here, we talk about dehydrating food. Now, you may be more into rotisserie chicken, but we are more into dehydrating apples and things like that. So
tell me more about your Garden Master or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. I know it's not as exciting as dehydrated rotisserie chicken, but
ew.
It's called jerky, and I will not be doing that either. But you can do it. You can totally do that in something like this. You can make jerky in a dehydrator. People do it.
I know.
I only use it for fruits and vegetables. But so our dehydrator is like older than the hills, and it takes many, many, many weeks to dehydrate something. But the Garden Master it's a round unit, which is kind of spiffy, and it has like 8 different trays on it, which is also nice because a lot of the other units, especially the older units, have a lot of space in between the trays. And so you can't have that many trays because they're not as efficient. They have upped the dehydration game here with this unit. And so it's a smaller footprint, smaller space in between the trays, and you can fit 8 trays in there. And it can, I think they said that it can be expanded up to like 30 trays or something. I don't even know how that's possible. But if you're really into your, prepper mentality, you could really get into some dehydration projects there, I suppose. But they have a really quality dehydrator, and it's really cool. And you can fit a lot of stuff in there, and it really works well. And I think it's like $140.
No, that's not bad.
No, for a solid dehydrator. If you're in the market for a dehydrator, I think this is really definitely one to consider. It's a pretty easy to use, and if you don't know a lot about dehydrating, it preserves the nutritional value. Other than like if you're freezing or doing things like that, you can be reducing the nutritional value of the foods, and this also reduces the space that the food takes up, and you can preserve the food for a lot longer. And you can do herbs, vegetables, fruits, jerky if you want to do jerky. I don't really like that, but some people can. You can make all kinds of chips out of it. It depends on what it is you're doing and how thinly you slice them.
It's like if you're making apple chips.
Well, I don't know because I haven't used this particular product. But I mean, it could be like a couple days, And
the product's on the whole time? Is it just a low heat oven?
Very low heat, but there's a fan too that's drying. But you know what? You live in Arizona. You don't need one. Just stick the food outside.
I'm going to stick a
Put it
piece of,
outside
I'm
in
going
the
to put an
sun.
entire rotisserie chicken outside and see how long it takes to make jerky and see if I get.
It won't take it very long at all. You just stick it
if I
outside.
die. Yeah. And then see what fun nature has.
Stick your
for me.
meat
And
thermometer in it, and then it'll be done. And
that's
it'll
a
be fine.
great idea on how to use the meter stick or whatever.
There you go.
Meter plus. Yeah.
Yeah. By
That's
combination, you'll have everything. You'll be set. Forget it. You don't need
Gross.
this. It's an East Coast product.
Speaking
You don't
of
need this product.
Speaking of
in
really
Phoenix.
disgusting things and leaving a rotisserie chicken in your yard, the next product I want to talk about kind of goes
Speaking
along
of.
with it. Yeah. I want to talk about the Lomi by Pella Earth. And
Okay.
it's a countertop, not outside, a countertop composter. All right, let's open it up and see the inside. Fantastic. Compost accelerator, so you can put it directly into your bin when you're done. Several different modes can also break down microplastic. Awesome. And it's no stink, no mess, no grossness. And it comes with like things that you can put on to accelerate the compost that you make. So there's several different settings, and it's fairly big. And I'm saying, I don't know, it's big. It's bigger than you think.
Bigger
It's
than a
not-
bread box.
It's possibly bigger than a bread box, but it looks sleek. It looks like it could stay on your countertop, and it's
Which is where it goes. So
where
it
it
should
goes.
look like it
Yeah,
stays
exactly.
on your
It's not just like a weird thing that's like, oh my God, is that your composter? And you're like, no, it's beautiful. It looks like a bread machine or something, futuristic bread machine. But it's a countertop composter, and there's several different settings where you can like have it take a long time, and then that's the soil that you can use for vegetable gardens, or you can do a fast mode, and then that's the soil that you would use just to put into your composting bin that you would have outside. So there's several different ways that you can use it, and it's promised to be like a no stink option. And I just really love the idea of a composter that can sit on your countertop, because some people have the ones that are like in their bins that they slide out if you make it into your home with a new kitchen. I have a very old kitchen, so there's no way a composter is going to fit anywhere into my kitchen experience unless it's on my countertop. But I love this idea of like obviously getting rid of food waste, and like your banana peels and your apple cores and all that will go into here, and then you'll magically have soil, and then you put that into a compost heap or a bin that you have outside. So this is just to help make your compost and to help degrade your food waste to put it into additional soil that you'd have outside.
How long does it take?
So again, fast one that's not supposed to be used for like fruits and vegetables, and then a longer one. So I don't know what fast is, but I think it's within the day.
Within the day?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But I think that that's the one to just use along with your compost. I don't think that's the one that you should plant directly, because I don't know what the difference is in the nutrients, but that's just what they told me. I don't know a lot about composting because I don't have it, and I'm afraid of worms.
You're afraid of worms. Worms
Yeah,
are so cool.
Worms are cool. That's rad. I don't want to see them. I don't want to touch
Does
them.
it come with worms?
No, that's the compost accelerator tablets. I told you about this, just enzymes and bacteria.
Got it.
So,
Well, then
but
there's nothing to be
your
afraid of.
compost bin outside, or your
I have
compost
two.
soil
I have
would have
two
worms in
giant
it.
compost bins outside.
Yeah, because you're a hippie. I get it. We are not. Yeah, peace, love, and worms. So anyway, it's nice to see a countertop composter that I feel like most families could use, and it's not scary, and it's not hard to use. So if you're going to start composting, this is like, it's an investment. It's $4.99. But if you want to start composting, you don't want to just like have a bin outside that you take all your trash out, and actually do a button, and it helps everything out, makes it super quick, then Lomi is definitely something to use. So we have a video of it working as well.
Yeah. No, I've been looking at that for a while. I really like that product because, I mean, like I said, I have two outside, but I think it would be really cool to have, because I have a small bin on my kitchen counter, and we have to empty it every day.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to
avoiding
accelerate.
it. So it's not just like a bin of stuff that you have to toss out there and wait
Right.
for the worms. Like you literally can put in this beneficial bacteria and then spin it around and then it'll
Right.
be good to go into your larger composting bin. So again, no smells, which is really, I think, what a lot of people have hesitation on for composting bins. 'Cause
Sure.
they get freaked out by that. So I think it's rad. I think it's cool. I think it's perfect for someone like you. I think you should get it because it's awesome looking and I support people who are going to compost. I myself am not a composter, but who knows? Maybe I will be in the future.
Yeah. Maybe this will turn you into a composter.
Maybe this is the thing that turns me into like a hippie that has buckets of worms outside. Anyway, so
One can dream.
one can dream. So here's the deal. I was scarred. When I volunteered at the zoo,
Apparently.
everyone has to start on the farm. Okay. Everyone has to go through the farm. So you
Everyone.
start by talking about the horses and the cows and you feed
And
the
the
goats and all that stuff. And you also have a worm farm and you tell people how to compost and you tell people about worms and how beneficial they are for the soil. But the one thing I hated was digging in and having to show people the worms. And I'm just like, I hate this. I don't like it. There's
They give
something
you
about
gloves,
that.
Erica?
No, because it's just worms. It's not like I'm digging my hand in like horse crap or whatever that you I actually don't know if I wore gloves for that. To be fair, I didn't wear gloves a lot. Like when I was feeding the hawks, you can't wear, I have a falconer's glove, but then when you get the mice out and you're just like holding mice, dead mice to feed them.
But that didn't scar you.
No, that was not, oddly enough, not scarring. But
Yeah, okay.
worms, I can't.
Everybody has their thing.
A little different. So I think maybe like I definitely know about worms. I love worms. I support worms and I love whatever they're doing.
Support
for the
worms.
environment. I support worms. Keep doing what you're doing. But like
Now I know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
it's not for me.
I support worms.
Matt likes to freak me out by having to dig in the garden when we pull up weeds. And I go, the second I find a worm, I'm going to freak out. I'm going to not pull up weeds anymore. So he finds one and he's like, what is this? And shows it to me and I get all freaked out and gross. And I'm like, oh, I hate it. And I pulled up a caterpillar and I'm like, okay, this is not a worm, but I'm also out. I can't do this. I know that that's a sign of a good garden, but like, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's yucky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can't. Freaks me out.
Okay.
That's
I
my
feel
story
like,
about
I feel like
worms.
we've made some progress here in this session.
So make it a loamy so you don't need worms inside. You can keep your worms outside.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a great story. I hope you all loved it. Oh my God, this is going off the rails. The next product I want to talk about is also about not worms at all.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
The next product we're talking about is called Nutter, and it is a
Yes.
nut milk making machine
Mhm.
that is
Yes.
apparently very easy. I have a very large machine right now that we have making nut milk with, but this one is like a countertop, small, really sleek looking machine. And it's about $169, so in a good price range of under $200 to make your own milk. They were talking about like rice milk and oat milk and the different settings for that. So you can make anything into a grain or seed-based milk. But it's cool and it's cool looking and it's under $200 to get your hands on a nut milk maker and it looks great. So I will show you a video of what the machine looks like, but I thought that was really cool because so many more people are going out there and getting milks that are alternative milks. So many people are not lactose drinking anymore. And just like me, I buy milk, commercially made milk, and it is almond milk or hot milk or rice milk or whatever. And there are a ton of preservatives in it, a ton of things to make it shelf stable. And that's fine. But the difference between drinking a shelf stable almond milk and making your own creamy almond milk, you can taste the difference of it just being almonds and, maple syrup or whatever you put in it and water. So I love this concept of being able to make your own, especially if you're making coffee drinks every day in your house and you are using, whatever alternative milks.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool just to have like piping hot almond milk and it's ready for your next coffee. So
Right.
I've yet to try it, but again, I have a much larger unit right now. And this one is definitely one that could stay on the shelf, on the counter, and it would not be offensive to the eyes.
Right. And with units like that, I mean, eventually, at some point it's going to pay for itself. I mean, and then you're talking about like not having to contribute to packaging problems and all that kind of stuff too. So it's just, it's a good thing all around.
Yeah, I dig it.
I would love to get one.
I may invest in that bad boy.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have a large or small nut milk maker. It's always been something that I've thought,
Which is weird because you drink a lot of it.
I know. Well, I don't drink milk. I bake with milk, and
You put it in your coffee though sometimes.
yeah. We use nut milk creamers. Yeah. But yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I bake. Obviously, I bake with a ton of it.
Yeah.
The next one I want to talk about is a rapid cold brew coffee and tea maker, and it's by TriBest. And TriBest owns this brand called Shine Kitchen. So I'm trying to get my hands on this to try it because Matt drinks a ton of cold brew, and I only drink hot coffee. So I'm really interested to see if a cold brew fanatic would truly find this to be something that is appealing to him, because he buys so much cold brew and it is so expensive.
It is so expensive.
Yeah. So I want to try that, but I want to try the cold brew tea part of it because it uses this like really cool vacuum extraction. I got to watch it. It was like mesmerizing the way that it like ebbed and flowed out of this like machine. It's cool looking. And
you could just sit there and go.
I like literally watching, like, but to make cold brew tea is really unique. Definitely has a less harsh taste, and you don't overburn things like people burn their green tea all the time by using too hot of a water. So it'd be interesting to see what the cold brew tea would taste like, because I'm such a tea lover and I drink a lot of tea. So I'm curious about that. So I'm excited to try this. Again, it's brand new from Shine Kitchen, the rapid cold brew coffee and tea maker. And TriBest is pretty affordable for all their items. They also have a cool, oddly enough, not an electronic. It's not a plug-in. It has batteries, and it is like almost like a to-go pour over machine, and it doesn't have a plug-in. So it's just batteries. It's battery operated, and you just hit a button. And if you know anything about pour overs, there's a certain degree that the water has to go to, and then it has to do a first initial one to get the bloom of the coffee, and then it has to drip at a certain speed and a certain time in which the coffee flows down. That's how you make a pour over coffee, like the proper way. And this one is programmed to do that. So what's nice is they're like, yeah, we take this with us when we go. And I'm like, that's extravagant to take like a whole battery operated pour over system.
Wow.
But I mean, like if you're into pour overs and you go camping, you don't want to do an AeroPress, which I'm obsessed with. But if you want to do a pour over, this is a really unique option. Now, what's weird is I don't know why it's not a plug-in, because I tend to not have a lot of batteries just lying around, and I use rechargeable, and those go by pretty quickly. But I don't think it takes up a lot of battery time to make this, but it's a unique option for having.
They should just do it and make it a USB. Like, why don't they do that?
Ooh, that's a really good idea. Yeah. Anyway, so TriBest, and again, Shine Kitchen, and that's all their coffee items. Then the next one we want to talk about is pizza.
Well, I actually think I should just hop right on over and talk about Dash, because
how dare you not talk about pizza next?
Because I want to save the best for last.
Okay,
I know.
Yeah, I'm in.
Because that really reminded me of the Dash portable blender, because that
USB.
one has a USB charger. So Dash is this brand that probably most people would recognize because they see it in like Marshalls and TJ Maxx and, you know, all those kinds of places like that.
Target is like the exclusive retail.
Yeah, Target. All right, that's it. No, I think I've seen it in like TJ Maxx too.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying Target has like special ones.
Yeah. Okay, probably. But anyway, so they
the teeny tiny waffle makers.
The teeny tiny individual waffle makers that have like, you know, a snowman in it or a heart or a clover or whatever. That's Dash. And they have these fun colors, like the pretty turquoise and all those kinds of things. That's Dash, right? So their entire booth was decked out in all of those types of things. And they of course have come out with a whole bunch of new ones. In fact, they have this thing called Mini Mania, where they were promoting a waffle maker that's one for every month. I'm not sure.
I mean,
who's
I can't
going to
tell you
have
how
a
many
mini
I
waffle
have.
maker for each month.
I
But
would.
How many do you have, Erica?
I have, well, I got rid of some, but I have the holiday ones. I have Christmas and Hanukkah because I celebrate both.
Yes.
But I love their mini waffle makers because they're so adorable. They take forever because you're making one at a time.
Yes,
and
they're
it's not
very
high powered,
They're
and they're very tiny, but they're really
small.
cute. Yeah,
they're super
really
cute. I mean, they're just you can't get around how cute they are. They have like ghosts. They have spider webs. They've got a pineapple. I mean, they've got adorable.
Yeah, the pineapple's
waffle.
new this year.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, they've got super cute. They've got ones that like tic-tac-toe. I mean, they're super cute. But the thing that they were launching here was this new portable USB blender, which was the segue from what we were just talking about. Yeah,
So you don't want to talk about pizza. I get it.
No. I always want to talk about pizza, but I'm saving that one because this was a natural segue. Anyway, the blender is really cool, and we'll show a little video of how that worked. It was pretty neat, and it looked like it was pretty powerful too. So if you're somebody who likes to camp or on the go a lot, and you want to take your blender with you, it looks pretty cool.
Great for travel.
Great for travel. We could have put that in the travel one, but we didn't.
Missed opportunity.
It's electronic, sorta. They also have, in the spirit of their mini waffle makers, they have these things called mini bunt cake makers and mini pie makers.
Yes, the mini pie makers, so awesome.
So cool. Really like those. But so it's just a compact little, clamshell plug-in that you put your pie crust into, your filling, and then a pie crust on top, seal it. And it's kind of like those old-fashioned the things that you would put and bake in the fire, that's how the original pie makers and they still make, I saw them at Lodge and other places at the home show as well. But that's how they made it into an electronic
and super
device.
kid friendly and
yeah.
I mean, super adult friendly too. They have everything they've actually expanded a ton on their electronic gadgets that are beyond just because they were just waffle makers, right? And now they teamed up with Jeffrey Zakarian on a whole line of celebrity chef inspired stuff. But they launched a couple new products. One is a shaved ice maker, which retails for $58. So you can have your own shaved ice.
Yeah.
The other one is a milkshake machine, which I am so into. It looks literally like what you would get at McDonald's when they're making the McFlurries, or Dairy Queen when they make them.
And especially because McDonald's is always broken. Just might as well have
that's their shtick. Yeah. So I love that they have that. They also have a pint size ice cream maker where it literally just makes a small pint of ice cream.
And I asked, and they said
$36.
It totally makes vegan ice cream.
Yeah.
They've tested it on that. And
it got to, because I'm sure.
$36, that's great.
Yeah, and the USB blender, like you said, is $39.99, which I'm sure beats its competitor, which is the BlendJet. Because it's the exact same thing. But Dash is really just known for these quick, tiny, on-the-go things.
Inexpensive.
Inexpensive, and you can deck out a whole kitchen with them, and you could have everything that you want. Now, that is not saying that these are high-powered items.
No,
that is not what we're talking about.
No,
this is not the same as my $400 Belgian waffle maker from All Clad. It's not the same thing, but it is cute and it's adorable and it makes small things and it's quick and it's cheap. Or inexpensive, I should say. And it's adorable. I mean, they have a whole line of purple items. It's almost like Crusade, we're doing color schemes, and I'm like, all right, Dash, go for it. They're doing a lot of cool stuff and really branching out from what they were originally, was just a teeny tiny waffle makers, which are still adorable.
I do have reservations about recommending the brand for larger appliances like mixers or things like that. No. I would not steer someone towards that because I did inquire about the wattage and things like that. And I just don't think that there's a lot of power in those types of appliances. However, I did ask the rep I was talking to there. I said, okay, so tell me, what's your favorite thing the Dash makes? And she said she could not live without their immersion blender. She absolutely loves it. So just for what it's worth, maybe the immersion blender is something to look into, and the beautiful colors, and I felt it, and gave it once over at the booth, and it did feel very, very strong and heavy, and not like it was some immersion blenders, just don't feel like they've got like the heft that it needs. So that one might be worth a look too. I haven't tried it myself, but I love immersion blenders. I love them. And I think everyone needs an immersion blender.
I don't have one.
You need an immersion blender.
Okay. I need an immersion blender.
Okay.
Check.
Okay. I'm writing myself notes right now.
We'll see what Dash has in store for us, if we can get our hands on some samples so we can actually tell you, what's effective and what works. Because I'll tell you, their mini waffle makers, for what they are just adorable. And you absolutely need one because they're going to look so cute on photos and your kids are going to think they're adorable. So that is Dash under the name Storebound, or Storebound under the name of Dash is bydash.com. I'm really excited to test some of those out and see what actually works for being so tiny and adorable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now we have to talk about pizza, because you made it last until the very end.
I love talking about pizza.
I still haven't had lunch.
Yeah, and it's almost dinner time where I am. So, okay, pizza. I get this question all the time. Like, do I need, or should I buy, or how does it work? These outdoor pizza oven situations, right? For gluten-free pizzas. And I don't have one. Do you have one?
No, we have thought about it many a times. Many people grill it, but like for us, we don't really grill a lot. So for us, like that's not really an option. And for some people, like they have a mixed use grill, so then they have to grill it on like foil, and it may not be as sexy as just grilling the dough directly on that, so it's a whole thing. And we're just like, we just make it in the oven and hope for the best. But yeah, I've seen some of these and they're awesome. And we want one.
Yeah, I know. And I definitely want to get one at some point as well. The thing about these outdoor pizza ovens is that it can replicate the whole experience of your pizza being made in a pizza oven at a restaurant.
A true pizza oven, yeah.
The crust, if the crust is actually a good pizza crust, not those, silly little rice cracker or chickpea crusts that are thin. Like, we're talking like a real gluten-free pizza crust, a good crust. It'll puff up like really big and get those bubbles and everything, and it'll get like charred on it, whatever, because it cooks in like 60 seconds. Which is also the benefit, right?
It's because it's like 800 degrees. It's
like 950 degrees, right? And so that's amazing. So there were several of these outdoor pizza kitchen oven people at the International. I keep wanting to call it the Housewares. Anyway, at the Inspired Home Show. And the one that I wanted to highlight today is called Gozney. And it's spelled Gozney. And the reason I wanted to highlight this one is because it's a little bit different than the traditional ones that have been out for a while. And it's also the price point, I think, is a little more accessible for people. This one, there is a smaller unit called the Rock Box that they have. And Gozney's been known for a while in the restaurant industry. They are the ones that have been installing these pizza ovens for restaurants. So they are now sort of entering the residential market with their Rock Box. And it's they've got different size units, but the Rock Box is a smaller unit. And the price point is like, what do we see? It's $4.99. And it's a dual fuel unit. So you can cook with propane and with wood. So you can get like the char and the smell and the flavor, or you could just simply cook with propane. And it's got like a built-in digital thermometer. You can also bake with it. You can smoke with it. It's not just for pizza. So, you can get more creative. You could do grilled vegetables, all kinds of stuff. The one thing about it is with some other brands, you can take the pizza stone and you can remove the pizza stone and use a different pizza stone. So like if for some reason somebody in your family wanted to cook a gluten pizza on it and you wanted to do your gluten-free pizza on it, you could exchange the pizza stones. With this, you cannot do that. There is one stone. It is not removable. There are pros and cons to that. It is a thicker stone. It is a more solid stone. It is, arguably it's a better stone. I, of course, am a proponent of not having people in your home cooking gluten. So to me, like, there's no reason to have a different pizza stone. But, you should know that if you are going to have someone in your home who would be putting gluten in and out. As Erica and I will tell you, the gluten doesn't go away. You're not going to cook it off the pizza stone. So you would need to have that awareness. But the other thing is, if you're going to be trading stones, it's 950 degrees. So you're not trading stones anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like you're going to have to do that much, much, much later. So that's not really an effective choice for the meal that you're about to cook. So I don't know if people are going to be trading stones with other brands anyway. But anyway, I really liked it. The story is amazing. We might have them on the show at some point. I think the founder story is a really, really cool one. But it's neat. I liked the brand. I liked the price point. I liked the product. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. And one thing I will share is that there is an indoor one that Oni created. And Oni is really the one that most people know about when they see these outdoor pizza ovens. They're also very expensive. And I will tell you, the indoor one is also very expensive. It's $999. So it's a commitment. And if you're like, I love pizza and I eat it every day and I only make this, whatever, that's fine. Good for you. Choose whatever you want. Choose your own adventure with pizza ovens. Oni is really like the biggest one, I think, in the market for consumer based. So that's one we've been seeing for years. But yeah, so their big thing, their big launch of the show is the indoor pizza oven. Again, I don't know. It's large, right? You're putting a whole pizza in it. I don't know who has a counter space for any of this stuff.
Yeah.
We're talking about an air fryer that folds in and of itself just so we can put it away. And now you're like, this is a giant pizza oven. So I'm not really sure how that would really work. But I mean, obviously there's a market for it, else they wouldn't have created it, but that's what they launched this year. And their outdoor pizza ovens are like $429 for a 12-inch and $799 for a 16-inch. So again, these are not like small commitments to make. But if you're like really into pizza and this is what you do, and maybe you made a pizza cookbook, like some people I know, and they have one of these, and it's like that makes sense. Like it's perfect for you to understand how to cook on all these different types of places, like the grill or an outdoor pizza oven or your oven. I think for most consumers, it's going to be kind of out of their market, but I think it's way cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to have one, but I just don't think I'd rather buy the Flooser that we talked about earlier, the juicer, right?
For $15.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, some of these, because of what they are, they're a bit more expensive, but I just think that they're really unique opportunities for you to explore cooking and baking. And that's what we're here for. So I don't know. Will you buy one of these pizza ovens?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You do love pizza.
I think about it a lot. I love pizza, but we've also kind of nailed, cooking gluten-free pizza on a grill. Get those char marks on the bottom of it. And we can get the grill up to a little over 500 degrees. And we cook it in the oven at home too. And we cook it at 500 degrees and it puffs up great and it's really yummy. So, I mean, we don't need this, right? Would I like to have it?
Of course. Yeah. Does anyone need anything that we talked about today? I'm going to go with a no. But these are very cool, nice to have.
Yeah.
Right? Right? Awesome. Well, I think this is it for our electronics segment. I know that we have so much more to talk about at the whole show, but this is a big one for us.
Yeah. I loved every one of these things.
I know. So. I'm obsessed with all of them already, even if I'll never afford to buy one myself.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much.
Yeah,
it's all aspirations for me right now. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of You Had Me Eat. Once again, this is our special episodes talking about the Inspired Home Show 2023. There are several episodes before this one, so if you missed any, make sure you go back and listen to them and stay tuned for another episode of You Had Me at Eat.
Be sure to like and subscribe and tell all of your family members who are looking for gifts for you to listen in. Because
if anyone wants to buy Jules a pizza oven, we're open to it.
That's
we're
right.
here and open to it.
I will send you my address.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Talk soon.